Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Thomas Paine, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Sam Adams, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin, Benjamin Franklin. These men spoke up for what they thought was right. From their courage came such documents as the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States. From their willingness to speak what was sometimes unpopular but right, we enjoy such liberties as freedom of speech, the right to keep and bear arms, and freedom of religion. There are those who still wish to oppress our freedoms, and there are still patriots willing to stand up and defend life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Men like Zeb Bell, who honor our founding fathers and what they stood for. It's now time for Zeb at the ranch, speaking up and defending your freedoms. Brought to you by Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers and all of the other great advertisers on the program. And now, Zeb Bell.
100% green energy, huh? Idaho Power is leading us down a very expensive and powerless path, and they don't care. I'll tell you a lot more about this in just a few minutes. Right now, here comes Kate Smith, and God Bless America, followed by a Patriot. Come on, Patriots, call in with the Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning. And a good morning to you as we start a brand new month. It's hard to believe. September. My goodness sakes, Zeb at the Ranch. I'm Zeb Bell with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. All 7 locations serving you with the best of safe driving tires. You stop in and see them today. Along with some of our great advertisers like Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. And, of course, Greystone Crossing Independent Senior Living at 1221 21st Street in Hayburn. Seniors living the good life with friends. Let's get this month started off right with the Pledge of Allegiance. Good morning.
Well, good morning, sir. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
That a boy. Wheels, good to have you back, and I hope you had a nice trip as we go right now to the weather forecast, brought to you by K&R Rental at 256 South, 600 West of Hayburn, right there on the Burley-Paul Highway. For the best of rental of tools and equipment, it's K&R Rental. They've got anything you need for this fall of clean up and get ready for winter before the ground freezes. Boy, you've got a lot of projects. They've got all the tools. Give them a call today, 678-3122, K&R Rental. Right now, here's Gina with the weather.
Going to be a nice day as we are kicking off this first week of September. Here's a look at your weather forecast. A little bit on the warm side. We are expecting mostly sunny skies for today with a high of 90. Tonight, partly cloudy with a low of 57. Tomorrow, another nice one, mostly sunny skies, high of 90. But by Wednesday evening, we are expecting a slight chance of late evening rain showers and thunderstorms, expecting a low of 57. Those could carry over for Thursday, about a 20% chance, cooling off to about 86. Chance of showers, about a 40% chance for Thursday night with a low of 58, and could carry over for Friday as well with a high of 81. That's a look at your weather forecast for Zeb at the Ranch.
Thank you very much, Gina, and brought to you by Roger and the crew over at K&R Rental. Oh, my. You know, you better get your new lawn sprinklers in or your water lines before the ground freezes. They've got all the equipment to take care of that, so please get a hold of them today. All the excavators, everything at K&R Rental. 256 South, 600 West of Hayburn, 678-3122, the very best serving you. Oh, boy, did we have a good weekend. I hope you did too. Labor Day weekend, and now here we go into fall. Yes, and this week it looks like, as you look at some of the temperatures and the changes and transitions, might be the last real warm week, and then I've noticed some dipping of those temperatures. We've got a big story to talk about in just a minute, but right now I also want to remind you that this Thursday, don't forget sale day at the Burley Livestock Sale Yard, 1100 Occidental Avenue in Burley. Telephone number to call for cattle consignments and sale information, 678-9411. The sale that works for you. Merv May, Cade Rogge, and of course Lance Udy, the whole outfit serving you. Thursday sale day at about 10:30. Don't forget Burley Livestock Sale Yard in Burley. Also, our thanks go out to long-time advertiser, and that's, of course, Daryl's Cleaners. My goodness sakes, they've been with us for a long, long time. They are the best dry cleaners, and they just take care of your clothes. I mean, when you go in there to pick them up after you've dropped them off, they look brand spanking new. Well, please take my advice and stop in and see them at 1223 Albion Avenue in Burley. And don't forget, too, they can wash, dry, fold, and iron all your clothes if you don't have time to do your own washing, just like Mom used to at Daryl's Cleaners, 1223 Albion Avenue in Burley. I have got a story that absolutely, when I saw it first on television on Fox News, knocked my socks off as to how it's going to possibly very possibly relate to us here in the state of Idaho. And I'm going to talk about it in just a minute. It's a story about Georgetown, Texas, and all green energy. What happened? We'll tell you about that in just a moment. Don't forget our friends at Ramsey Heating and Electric at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley. My goodness, they also get there early in the morning at 7:30 to 5, Monday through Friday. And they're located at 2600 Overland Avenue in Burley for all, underline it, your heating, cooling, and electrical needs. They know they can help you, and they will. So please get in there or give them a call today at 678-0459. That number again, 678-0459, the best serving you for almost 7 decades. Wow, they're good. Ramsey Heating and Electric in Burley. I had a call over the last couple days, and this person wanted to know about the September lunch bunch. And here we are just starting September, and they wanted to know what the date was that we were picking for our lunch bunch. And I will tell you this so you can put it on your calendar, and then you won't have to keep calling me all the time and saying, what day, what day, what day? It's going to be on September 26th. Got it? Okay, September 26th, our next lunch bunch. At Denny's Restaurant, 611 North Oberlin in Burley, and another location at 291 Pole Line Road in Twin Falls. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner, anytime, all the time, and the menu choices are phenomenal. Oh my goodness, you got to go in there and check it out with your family and friends today. Don't forget, great service at America's Diner. Denny's Restaurant. They're the home of Zeb's Lunch Bunch at 611 North Overland in Burley. I urge you to stop in and enjoy a meal today. You will call me and thank me. All right, calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Look what's coming. And Idaho Power is telling us up front that they're going to go 100% green energy in about 20 years. 100%. Well, Georgetown, Texas, a city with a population of about 75,000, was supposed to be the new poster child of the green energy movement. Oh, yeah. The mayor and the city council, they were so excited about going green energy and generate all of its electricity from wind and solar power. Oh, they were just absolutely excited. And former Vice President Al Gore and other climate change luminaries absolutely were yelling and screaming in favor of the the mayor, Dale Ross, and all the city council. Hold on just a minute. There seems to be a little problem down in Georgetown, Texas. Their electric bills went through the roof. No kidding. I have here a story in front of me that absolutely is verified, solidified fact. Georgetown, Texas electric bills went up as more wind and solar displaced cheaper natural gas in the power portfolio of Georgetown's municipal utility. And the politicians were scrambling for cover because the citizens were absolutely irate. And their municipal utility bill was facing, listen to this, a $7 million shortfall. I want to say that again. Their municipal utility facing a $7 million shortfall because of much higher electricity costs. Oh. Well, last month, in August on the 13th, the Georgetown City Council voted 5-0 to officially kill the deal. And to help pay for their shortfall, the city is also raising property taxes. Now, I tell you what, this means that cities like Georgetown, which have contracted to take power from wind and solar farms hundreds of miles away, don't risk blackouts on windless nights because reliable power is delivered from a grid getting power from fossil fuels. You know, it says here in the story, and here's where Georgetown's 100% renewable push merely looks like expensive virtue signaling. I was reading further into this story, and I also listened to a gentleman on television by the name of Chuck DeVore. And he is with the Texas Public Policy Foundation. I am working on getting him on the program tomorrow. But listen to this next paragraph about this heinous story that could be coming here because of our wonderful, not going to take any interviews, they want to be very closed and secretive, Idaho Power. In Georgetown's case, for it to truly go 100% renewable energy using today's state-of-the-art mass-produced batteries from Tesla's Gigafactory, now listen closely, the city would need a $400 million battery farm weighing some 20,000 tons to avoid a blackout on a quiet winter night. And after spending $15,600 for each household to build such a battery farm, its backup power would be drained in just 12 hours, with a second windless winter night leaving residents shivering in the dark. Aren't you just feeling warm and fuzzy? Aren't you just excited about what Idaho Power is going to do to us? Oh, it's exciting! If the Green New Deal moves from fantasy with Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and how much it's going to cost, literally trillions, that's with a T, trillions of dollars, voters, I think, will swiftly end this idiocy at the ballot box. One can only hope. Now, to Idaho Power, gee, wished you'd come on the program and discuss stories like Georgetown, Texas, and what might happen here in Idaho with your push to go 100% green energy in 20 years. But they, of course, are hiding under their desk, as the cowards they are, and won't come on the program. Caller, I'll take your call in just a minute. I got to tell everybody about a couple of our sponsors, and I'll be right there. Thank you for your patience. I want to remind everybody, let your house welcome you home with perfect temperatures. The iComfort Wi-Fi thermostat from Lennox features remote control access so you can adjust your home's temperature from anywhere. Right now at Ramsey Heating and Electric, they're offering up to $1,600 in rebates on a new system, so make yourself comfortable. Call Ramsey Heating and Electric, 678-0459, or visit them online at ramseysonline.com. Terms and conditions apply. See dealer for details. Also, I quickly want to remind you about our friends at Ark Animal Hospital. Hello, how are you? They are a large and small animal practice, meaning they take care of them all, and they want them healthy. And if you have any problems with cuts or little disease factors or whatever the case might be, I urge you to get a hold of them today. Ark Animal Hospital at 750 21st Street, near Connection Credit Union in Hayburn. And the number to call, they are waiting to serve you, 678-1177. As I said, large and small, they take care of them all at Ark Animal Hospital, where they have the warm hearts for the cold noses. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
See, this is what happens when you have a public that has, it's so easy for them to be informed. But there is no doubt, there's tons of misinformation out there, lies about everything. Global warming, the Green New Deal, everything like it. And there's people out there that don't have a clue. And they just think that this thing's just going to continue to roll along. And the day that it doesn't is the day that it's been destroyed by the communists, the environmentalists, the distracted, simple-minded people, it seems. But you see, there's so many people out there that just don't care to know. It's just like Idaho Power. They're just going to ride out the clock. They are. They're just going to say, we're not going to pay any attention to old Zeb. See, until we get enough people bugging them, and I would call back, but I've done it so much, it can't just be me, not that I'm the only one.
Yeah, and I'll tell you something, Randy. I got to tell you something right up front. I appreciate everything that you have done to help create more of an urgency for them to try to come on the program and answer questions. Real quick, before I've got another call waiting, but I want to have you respond to this. You have studied this new Green Deal, and are you aware that the battery system alone for a nationwide battery system of storage would cost trillions of dollars on its own because of all the massive increase in mining to produce the materials for that battery storage? I mean, people are not using any common sense at all here.
Well, in some cases, we don't have those minerals readily available in American soil, in the earth, and we would be in trouble again. I tell you what, man, when we start depending on foreign sources of resources, we get ourselves in trouble.
I'll tell you what I think is going to happen, Randy, is that Idaho Power is going to hear about me commenting again about them and their lackadaisical and cowardice attitude of not coming on the program. And they're going to poo-poo this and say, well, we've got plans to make sure that this doesn't happen. No, they don't. They don't have any plans to counteract what we saw with this new Green Deal of green energy down in Georgetown, Texas. We don't have anything to counteract all the people that were looking at a $7 million shortfall in the city because of higher electricity costs. We don't have anything that's going to offset raising property taxes to try to pay for this idiocy. This is going to happen, Randy. It's going to happen.
And it's unnecessary. And it destroys the very fabric of our economy. And see, we can't have that. You see, the fact that there's people that want there to be a recession to get rid of Trump, well, once we got rid of him, if we were elected a Democratic president, we would go into a depression because not only, oh my word, we were headed towards one with Obama in 08, 9, and 10. I felt the country was dying. It was. We were dying. Then we overcame him. You know, we just went out and you know, the ingenuity and industrial stuff of the American people overcame what Obama had done to us.
Yeah.
Then we elected Trump, and he freed us up. And now they want to encourage a recession. Just why do you want to screw it? But see, these people, power is all they care about, and they couldn't. It's just like, I can't. I better just hang up. I'll hang up.
All right, buddy. Talk to you later. Thank you very much. I'll tell you, the new Green Deal is a nightmare of lies and cover-ups. And it looks like Idaho Power may be a major part of that in the very near future. Caller, I'm going to ask your indulgence to stay there just for a second. I'll be right with you, I promise. And I want to remind everybody about our dear friend Jerry Zollinger and Zollinger Quarter Horse Ranch. Oh, my. This is the weekend coming up September 7th at Zollinger Ranch in Oakley for the great big best of quality quarter horses production sale right there at the ranch. They're selling 40 lots this year on Bloodlines, top quality, and most importantly, disposition. These are the best of the best. Please, for more information, contact Jerry at 208-670-3833. Zollinger Quarter Horse Ranch production sale this coming Saturday at 11 a.m. starting time at the ranch in Oakley. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Zeb. You know, most of the listeners listening right now think that you had a 4 or 5 day weekend and you just enjoyed yourself. You rode your horse. You did everything in the world. But how come this morning you have answers? And that's what we have to have is answers. You take people like AOC, who talks a lot, but they will not listen.
Well, I wished it was that simple to say, and I appreciate your comment. I really do. That it was all those days off with nothing to do but just lounge in the lawn chair and look at the clouds roll by, because that's not the case. Every single day, my wife and I were in this office, and we were putting together stories and different facts. And as I stated earlier, I am in the process. I called the Texas Public Policy Foundation this morning. I forgot about the time change, and I left a message for this Chuck DeVore, who works with the Texas Public Policy Foundation, to give me a call. I'm going to try to get him on tomorrow morning's program. I'm dealing in facts, and the fact is Georgetown, Texas, population 75,000, forced and coerced into going into a green energy only, went belly up.
Well, the facts are, Zeb, these things are going to be coming. Electricity generated by the sun and the wind. These things are not going to go away. But as an alternative, I guess they're fine. But it isn't something we can count on.
Well, I'm not going to say they're going to go away either. But they are not by any way, shape, or means ready to take over as reliable energy. Look, Keith, I mean, one of the major problems I was talking about with green energy is the battery backup system. What are you going to do about these battery farms? How much are they going to cost? Well, the answer is trillions and trillions of dollars. What are you going to do with the batteries once they're expendable? Oh, well, we'll just throw them in a big pile over there behind Keith Cottom's place. Right.
That's correct. And I don't have room in my yard for a bunch of old batteries.
Okay, buddy, I appreciate your call. Hope you had a wonderful weekend, and thank you very much. Appreciate it.
We did, but I appreciate the work that you've done when you were supposedly enjoying your days off.
Okay, thank you very much. I got to give a lot of credit to my lovely bride, too. I mean, yeah, it's easy to say, well, you just took a couple days off. No, on the days, and I want to make a little explanation here. I had a call that was asking questions about, well, you're taking Thursdays off. You got the life of luxury. I didn't really appreciate that call because, no, my wife and I, without getting too personal, we've had some health problems, and so we try to organize our doctor's appointments so that we can get in and take care of things on Thursdays. And so every other Thursday, I ask Sharon Wilmot to head up the program, and she's doing an outstanding job. That's all I'm going to say about that. It's nobody else's business. And then from that juncture, we go forth and put together things for the next day or the next week's program. It's not just a cakewalk. And I appreciate very much what Keith said earlier. Thank you. Calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Want to remind you, too, about Dino Septic Service. Oh, they do the job that you and I don't want to do. I don't want to be standing out there pumping a septic tank. 90 degrees, are you kidding me? And septic tank and drain fields installed. Why don't you put the S where it belongs? Drain fields. There you go. Backhoe services, liquid waste removal, sewer and drain lines cleaned. Oh, all of this and so much more. Why, the real professionals are there to serve you. Give them a call at 436-6526 and 678-1638. Fast, fair, friendly service. I can attest to that. Dino Septic Service. You get a hold of them today with that big truck that says, smells cargo on the way. All right, calls are welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. You know, little by little, honestly, I believe this in my heart of hearts, little by little, the American public is seeing through the false front Western building of green energy. And I believe every day that goes by when we hear stories about Georgetown and other places that people are going to become outraged. I mean, look at the city of Georgetown with 75,000 people, and they had a municipal utility facing a $7 million shortfall, and the city council voted to officially kill the deal they had on going green energy. But to pay for this mess, they had to raise property taxes. The poor taxpayers, they get it no matter how they look at it. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Jeff. Hey, this is Clarence. This solar deal, I just got done installing a bunch of solar on a camper. Now, you know, people are used to all the convenience, you know, dishwasher, clothes, and wash machines, clothes dryers, all that stuff. You're going to lose all that. I just got done putting 500 watts on top with 3,000 watt inverter. That takes care of my lights, the little TV, and if I want to run a air conditioner, I got to fire a generator. So, you know, it'll cut back on some, but it's not going to do the job that people expect to get.
Let me ask you something, and you sound like a very knowledgeable man, and I wished I had a tenth of your ability to do things like this. But what about power storage? You know, a lot of these people like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and all these others that want to push green energy, they really don't seem to understand at all about the massive, and I'll use that word and I want you to respond to it, massive energy storing through batteries that really aren't perfected. What's your response to that?
Well, just for what I use mine for, I have 4 batteries, 4 big heavy-duty batteries in there, and I didn't put it together. I wish I could take the credit for it, Zeb, but I didn't put it together. A close friend of mine did. But anyway, I also have a small 100-watt solar system on the back of my house that runs one 12-volt battery for emergency services on radio.
Uh-huh.
I'm a ham operator, and we need the emergency services for radio contact throughout the state if we run into problems.
All right. Well, now let me ask you this question then. With your ability to understand, you said, and I'm going to give you a lot more credit than you're giving yourself. You're very sharp on this. Are you, like I am, very worried that with massive green energy deals for solar and wind and all the battery farms and these trillions of dollars to develop these batteries, aren't you, like I am, a little worried as to what in the heck we're going to do with the batteries after they're expendable?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's not an item you can just go out and throw in the garbage can. It has to be disposed of properly. And it's quite a process. I've never really got involved in the taking away the batteries, doing away with the stuff, the acids and all that stuff. But Zeb, I really can't, by running what I have and that, I really cannot see how it could take a massive amount.
Yeah.
Because it would take a very, very, very large, massive amount of batteries to produce just part of the electricity you use now.
Yeah. I want to tell you how much I appreciate your call, and I hope the good Lord shines on you. Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate it.
You bet. Have a good day.
All right, sir.
Keep it up.
Thank you. Caller, please bear with me. I got to have a commercial break. I'll be right with you. You're next in line. I want to remind everybody about Barry Equipment and Rental Sales, Service, and Parts at 159 West Highway 30 in Burley. Oh, yeah, good people. 465 Addison Avenue West in Twin. Hello, Eli, and the Nampa location. They've got all the big equipment you need for lifting, digging, pushing, and carrying, and grading, and leveling. Oh, my goodness. And you don't know how to run it? You're a little fearful about it? Don't be, because like at the Burley location, they got a great big sandbox out behind the business. They'll teach you. They've got all the Doosan wheel loaders and excavators, all the Bobcats, everything. Please stop in to Barry Equipment and Rental. Burley, Twin Falls, and Nampa, serving you. Caller, I'll be right there. I want to remind everybody, Bennett Boys are going to have a great big auction coming up this weekend, September 7th. It's September 7th, and it's going to be the Ken and Joyce Allred moving sale over in Buell, Highway 30, southwest of Buell. Watch for the auction signs, lunch by the Cook Shack, and it's going to be Saturday at 10:30 a.m. Farm equipment and lots of machinery, yard and garden material, shops, equipment, furniture and kitchen, recreation equipment. They've got motorcycles. They've got craft items. They've got everything over there. Antiques. It's going to be quite a sale. Ken and Joyce Allred moving sale. This coming Saturday, September 7th, 10:30 in the morning over in Buell. Look for the signs, managed by the Bennett Boys Auction Service. No sale too big, no sale too small. The Bennett Boys sell them all. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yeah, I want you to think of this. Compare what comes out of the Valmy and Bridger plants out of the smokestacks, and they're clean. You can't see a thing. Compared to disposing of a battery, whether or not it's a car, a truck, things that go into solar energy, wind turbines, disposing of some of these things is absolutely, it's a whole new industry. Getting rid of these batteries is so toxic that, do you think that they're going to let you get away with just putting it anywhere?
No.
It's going to be a whole nother animal.
Well, Randy, you bring up a good point about Valmy and Fort Bridger. And you and I have talked about this personally on the phone and then also on the radio. And we go back to a very simple adage that's been said for generations. If it ain't broke, why fix it? And when they are putting out very substantial amounts of power very efficiently and not doing anything to harm the environment, why does Idaho Power want to walk down this trail of idiocy and put us into a position of green energy that's unreliable and very expensive?
Because nowadays, if you're not environmentally conscious, you're not LGBTQ, you're out of the loop, man. They think otherwise you're just, an old, tired, whatever you are, and you need to die and get out of our lives so we can run this thing right. You see, again, the toxicity of batteries, of old batteries, compared to what's coming out of the smokestack at Valmy and Bridger, right now those things are running, and they've been maintained for all their lives, and they're as efficient as you can imagine. And I don't know about Valmy, but over in Wyoming, there's natural gas right there. They can just switch it over.
Yep.
But you see, the environmentalists, truly, what they want to do, and it's said so many times, they want to put us in a third world nation status. They do. They want to. I tell you what, Zeb, none of it makes any sense. And I guess if you could starve if you could starve billions of people to death, they would probably just as soon have it that way, especially us in Idaho.
No, I'm beginning to think that with Idaho Power's lack of professionalism, and that's what it is, lack of professionalism to come on this program and answer honest, legitimate questions of concern about how the Green New Deal is going to work and or not work. I think it just shows that we are being duped and being led over a cliff by people that think they don't care about us. It's all about their pocketbooks. And I'm very offended that Idaho Power would have that kind of a personality.
Well, this is the thing. We just don't understand all the things that are going on behind the scenes with the influence of the environmental movement in America. It's unbelievable. I read an article in the paper, the Times News, talking about how in the 2050s there would be no snow, no moisture. The snow levels it'll be catastrophic.
Yeah.
Well, this morning, California had to admit that their drought is over with, and they had predicted, doomsday, and then they had to admit it. They won't admit why. See, we have no idea what is coming. We have no idea. It's cyclical, and it always will be, and it has nothing to do with whatever you and I could do. Mother Nature, God. It's out of our control, and it always has been.
I got to run, Randy, but I do appreciate your call back. Thank you, sir. God bless. Caller, before I go to the weather, I'll take your call. Go ahead, please. You're on the air.
Yes, Idaho Power is supposed to be a privately owned company. However, I got a feeling that it is highly, I shouldn't say dictated to, but guided by the government and those that want to be in power and those that are in power. They tried to take away our health insurance, and they did a good job of that. Now they're trying to control and regulate our power through green energy. At what end do we say enough's enough? And I hate to say this is more conspiracy theorist, but you think about it. Once they have your power, what are you going to do? You have to do what they want.
Well, let me ask you a question, Riley.
It's just a big catch.
Let me ask you this question, and then I've got to go to the weather. But you are a very sharp young man. You ask very intelligent questions, and you make very intelligent statements. Do you not have a right to ask Idaho Power about things that concern you, for you, your family's future? Don't they have an obligation to answer those questions?
Well, yes, I have every right in the world. I have every right in the world to get the questions answered. The thing that's frustrating as all heck to me is I don't live in Idaho Powered service, yet the people that do provide me power get it from Idaho Power. That's the way it works. What I don't understand is how come they have such a monopoly on it. And I understand the whole line thing, and if a line breaks, who's going to go fix it type of deal. But that the end of the day, it comes down to this. The power comes from Idaho Power.
But the thing is, you have a right to ask that question, and you have the right to get that question answered. That's what I was trying to do when I invited them on this program, and they put their tail between their legs and ran under their desk. Riley, I got to get a weather forecast on here, buddy. Thank you very much. Don't forget our friends at Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids, and they are right behind the Minidoka Hospital across from the emergency room, and they really care about the medical treatment of your hearing health. And they know that the cost of hearing treatment may be a deterrent for some patients, and they're really, really looking into all the different ways that they can help you in a very economical factor. Please get a hold of them today for a hearing screening, 312-0957. They are excellent at what they do. Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. And right now, here's Gina with the weather.
Going to be a nice day as we are kicking off this first week of September. Here's a look at your weather forecast. A little bit on the warm side. We are expecting mostly sunny skies for today with a high of 90. Tonight, partly cloudy with a low of 57. Tomorrow, another nice one, mostly sunny skies, high of 90. But by Wednesday evening, we are expecting a slight chance of late evening rain showers and thunderstorms, expecting a low of 57. Those could carry over for Thursday, about a 20% chance, cooling off to about 86. Chance of showers, about a 40% chance for Thursday night with a low of 58, and could carry over for Friday as well with a high of 81. That's a look at your weather forecast for Debit Durant.
I appreciate it, Gina, and brought to everybody by our friends at Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. They are really, really good at what they do in serving you and your hearing health. I urge you to give them a call today at 312-0957, Mount Harrison Audiology and Hearing Aids. Caller, I'll be right there. Stand by. Don't forget, let your house welcome you home with the perfect temperature. The iComfort Wi-Fi thermostat from Lennox features remote control access so you can adjust your home's temperature from anywhere. You can check it out right now at Ramsey Heating and Electric, offering up to $1,600 in rebates on a new system. Make yourself comfortable. Call Ramsey Heating and Electric today at 678-0459 or visit them online, ramseysonline.com. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning again. You know, here a few years ago, I bought a solar panel, 100 watt, I think that's what they call it, for my motorhome to keep the batteries charged up during the summer months, which I don't use. This has really worked out good because those storage batteries in a motorhome or a travel trailer or whatever only last a couple of years because the plates get so faded or whatever. But anyway, there's one thing that solar may be good for them, a standby type thing, instead of trying to shove it on us 100%.
Well, I think your point's well taken, and I don't think you've ever heard me say anything different. There may be occasions to where the addition and the add-on of solar and or whatever energy might be kind of a help save in case of special need, whatever, like your motorhome, whatever the case might be. But to all of a sudden tell us that Idaho Power is going to go totally 100% green energy, which I think is a lie in the first place, but to say that they're going to go 100% green energy, and then you hear stories about what happened down in Georgetown, Texas, with energy costs going through the roof and then energy shortfalls of $7 million and the public having to pay with increased property taxes. And this whole thing is just nothing but a great big scam.
Yeah, and you know, I want you to tell you about wind power. What a waste. You know, I have a pretty good-sized windmill just for decoration, okay? One day it may be just really, really humming, and the next day it's laying there limp like a dead horse.
I couldn't agree more. I just think that there needs to be so much investigation into the costs. I mean, when we're talking about batteries, and we're talking about battery farms, and we're talking about after spending $15,600 for each household each household, Keith, in Georgetown, Texas, to build a battery farm, they found out that it would drain itself in 12 hours and has to be recharged before they could have another cold winter night. I mean, people are outraged, and believe me, the city council of Georgetown, Texas scrambled to re-vote, and they voted 5-0 to kick the green energy out.
Well, the thing of it is, a lot of times they're taking up valuable farming land.
That's right.
These panels up.
Oh, the solar farms. And I wonder about the safety and security of these. There again, more questions about the reflection value, and there again about what could happen with people with health problems. There's been a lot of questions about certain things, airplanes and airports flying over, etc. And none of these questions have really been answered, but really the generating of power, not efficient, not cost efficient, but let's all remember, Idaho Power is going this way, and they're not answering any questions.
Well, let me just comment on this. This fine little system that I have to keep my batteries charged is a wonderful thing. But someday that panel is going to go dead.
There you go.
Now, it's approximately 6 feet long and about 4 feet high. I can't put it in a dumpster.
There you go.
What am I going to do with this?
Well, there's the $64,000 question. You let me know when you figure it out. I got another call, Keith. Thank you very much.
Well, I'm counting on you.
All right, buddy. Take care. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. Go ahead, please.
Yes, good morning, Zeb. What would be wrong with a caravan of 10 to 15 people, 10 to 15 cars is full of people in it, going up to the main headquarters and demanding answers to all these questions, and have the press there with you with all their cameras and everything, and really embarrass the hell out of them?
Well, I think, honestly, and I can't prove this, so it's speculation on my part, that most of the media seems to be almost pulling the sheets and tucking them in goodnight when it comes to being with Idaho Power and this green energy program. I don't think they want to really make any waves or cause any ripples, and I think the most we can embarrass Idaho Power, the better, until their representatives realize the general public has questions, and they, Idaho Power, have an obligation to answer the questions and not run and hide under their desk.
Well, don't we have any conservative newspapers in the state of Idaho? I'm
beginning to think that I'm going to have to really search for that answer.
Well, something can be done. I'm sure there's, you see people demonstrating for something every day, and the only way they can get answers is to hit the streets and do that. It doesn't have to be violent confrontation.
No, absolutely not. I totally agree with you, and I just think, and I hope and pray, that the powers at Idaho Power will realize they've made a serious mistake in avoiding questions and providing answers, and maybe they'll see the light. Oh, but they can't because their battery's dead. I'm sorry. I got to run, buddy. Thank you so much.
Okay, bud.
All right, thank you. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Sure. And with this Green New Deal, has anybody ever figured out what the carbon footprint is to get this thing established?
Oh, excellent. Excellent question. Excellent statement. Because when you talk about, okay, Doug, you're a sharp guy too, and I'm so glad you called. When you talk about one city, old buddy, Georgetown, Texas, would need a $400 million battery farm. One city of 75,000. What in the world are we going to do with all the batteries, and where are we going to get and pay for all the minerals and all the composition of these batteries, etc.? People aren't thinking.
Exactly. That's exactly it. And they get these electric cars. Okay, hey, I'm green, I got electric cars.
Yeah.
What charges them?
Yeah.
It charges them through the grid, which is only, I think, 5% from green, or what they call renewable energy, wind and solar. Only getting maybe 5% of our electricity from that. 95% comes from fossil fuels.
You know, Doug, do you agree that I see a day before the good Lord calls me home that we are going to be absolutely astounded and very offended that almost every usable acre is going to be aesthetically thrown asunder because of the idiocy and the homely wind tunnels?
Oh, yeah, definitely. And it's an unfortunate deal, but the politicians label their programs to suck people in by the name, like, just for instance, Affordable Care.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You know, Green New Deal, Green New Deal. They're not saying that the green is money that's going to have to be thrown down the tube, but it's all for power, Zeb. They want control of people, and that's how they're going to get control.
I'm flat out of time. I wished you'd have called a few minutes earlier. Doug, I got to run to the news right now, but thank you for your call. Appreciate it.
Okay, everybody, let's do what we can for our seniors. Let's support them. God bless.
Thank you, sir. Hey, real quick, I got to tell you about our dear friends and our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations. Oh, my goodness sakes, they've got all your tires. You going hunting? Well, you better check out your tires, and they've got many of their tires on a rebate system right now. You check it out. And I'm talking about the best. All 7 locations with the best in brake service, front-end alignment, shocks and struts, batteries, everything for you, but above all, it's service. Please get a hold of them today. Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, Daniel on Pole Line in Twin, and Trent on Overland in Burley. The best helping you for safe driving, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. Got to run to the news. I'll be back in 7. Don't go away. Oh, good morning on a Tuesday. I have to keep pinching myself every now and then and writing little things on the back of my hand like, this is Tuesday, not Monday. This is Tuesday, not Monday. Zeb at the Ranch, and, of course, with our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you with the best of your driving safe tires. Absolutely. And, of course, some of our great advertisers like Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. And Greystone Crossing Independent Senior Living at 1221 21st Street in Hayburn, seniors living the good life with friends. Right now, this good word for Western Waste Services.
From the canyons of the Snake River and all across southern Idaho, we're always at your disposal. Western Waste Services, we care about our community, our resources, and this great land. Western Waste Services is lending a hand, always at your disposal. Western Waste Services.
Oh, thank you very much. Don't forget, if you need to get rid of your garbage and you don't know what to do, well, just give a call to Western Waste Services at 734-6969. That number again, 734-6969. They are always at your disposal. Get on the route service and let them come by once a week and pick it up, and it's gone. Western Waste Services, 734-6969. Want to remind you that great big 31st annual, my goodness, I can't believe it, 31st annual Zollinger Quarter Horse Ranch production sale is going to be this Saturday, September 7th, starting at 11 o'clock in the morning, I should say, at the Zollinger Ranch up in Oakley. Don't forget the ranch up there at 1994 South, 100 east of Oakley, easy to find, and you're going to be checking out the best colts and fillies for breeding, conformation, disposition, and performance from some of the top bloodlines in the world. I urge you to be up at this sale Saturday, September 7th, this coming weekend at Zollinger Quarter Horse Ranch in Oakley. 11 o'clock starting time. Don't you miss it. And real quick, too, before we go to our guest, I want to urge you to remember our friends and your friends at Hanson Mortuary, 710 6th Street in Rupert. They do so much for the community. They do so much for the families. The families they serve are always treated with the best possible support and comfort, and always the highest ethical standards with unquestioned integrity. I urge you to call Hanson Mortuary at 710 6th Street in Rupert, 436-5636. That number again, 436-5636. And Joel Heward also serving you and your family at Morrison Payne Funeral Home on East Main in Burley. Right now, being that it's Tuesday, I get a chance to talk to a very, very good friend of mine and knowledgeable friend of mine with the American Energy Alliance, Dan Kish. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning, Zeb. I'm well, and I hope you are as well.
I am, but I'm really, really worked up this morning as to a story that I've got quite a bit of the information right here in my hand after listening to Chuck DeVore, and he was on television this last Friday, I believe. He's with the Texas Public Policy Foundation, and he was telling us all about the town of Georgetown, Texas. Population 75,000 that went 100% green energy, and the bottom fell out. Their costs skyrocketed, and these people are mad. Have you heard about this?
I have. In fact, I saw Chuck's piece and or heard it, and he's spot on. I mean, Chuck used to be in California, used to be a state legislator in California, moved to Texas to get away from all the craziness, and they're trying to transplant it there. And in this case, you had Michael Bloomberg, the mayor of New York, who wanted to tell people what size soft drink they could buy, and is all about climate change and everything else, billionaire while he flies around on his jets, give them $1 million to set up this program, and they were going to, it's not a small town, 75,000 people. Mm-hmm. All the stories we hear, this stuff's cheaper than other forms of energy. It's free, everything else, and as it turns out, that's all a ruse. That's all a scam. It's all these companies they sign up with cut a fat hog and left them with a bill.
Dan, right there, they cut a fat hog and they left them with the bill. You know that about 4 weeks ago on the program, I mentioned about our Idaho Power leading us down the path of new energy with a green energy approach, that in 20 years they want to go 100% green energy. We're on the same path. We could be in the same situation where these people, like in Georgetown, Texas, were facing in one town alone, a $7 million shortfall with great big higher electricity costs, and to offset this, they had to raise property taxes. These poor people that lived there got slapped once, and then they got slapped twice.
Right, and they went in good faith because they've been listening to the media tell lies, basically, about what's really going on there, and the PR specialists for these companies. And I'm telling you, there's a lot of fast buck schemes out there with this green energy. They're trying to get it while the getting's good before people really understand what's going on. But the fact of the matter is, because it needs backup, you can't rely on it 24/7. The cost of that backup send its total costs through the roof. And one of the things that Chuck DeVore got into in an article that he followed up his piece with was the fact that they're talking about batteries, because people say, well, gee, we'll just store it all in batteries. Well, rolling out batteries on the scale necessary to be able to supply people's electricity is just not an economical alternative at all. It's a fool's game. Around the edges, maybe a little bit, and batteries work fine in my drill. But the idea of running a city of 75,000 people on battery power is frankly crazy.
Well, Dan, you're a really sharp guy, so you can help me understand this a little better. When you need to tell the public that each household is going to end up spending $15,600 to build a battery farm that would be backup power for cold winter nights in Georgetown, and the city would need a $400 million battery farm weighing 20,000 tons to avoid a blackout, and it drains itself in 12 hours and then has to be repowered somehow for the next evening. I mean, I'm sitting here going, this is lunacy.
Yeah. Well, this is the kind of stuff that's happening, Zeb, and it's happening around the country. I mean, folks are on the East Coast. They're just going crazy, and in some other parts, and of course the West Coast, California, these ideas have gone in and sort of captured people's imagination. They like the idea that, gee, it's free energy, it's cheap, it's renewable, it just keeps coming, and all the rest of it. But there's a reason we use what we use. And as those costs get clearer and clearer to people, as they did in the case of Georgetown, which they just went whole hog for this program. That's part of the deal. Bloomberg gave them $1 million in return for going down this path, and what they got was a system that is now zapping their economic strength and providing them with reliability problems that don't exist. I mean, that didn't exist in the past.
Well, let me ask you, of all the cities that you know and of all the people you know around the world, whether it's Georgetown at 75,000, whether it's Twin Falls, Idaho at 60,000, it doesn't make any difference. How many communities can absorb a loss of over $30 million in less than 4 years?
Right. Well, that's the whole issue, and it's a loss based upon a promise that wasn't kept. I mean, honestly, if there was mail involved in this, it'd be a mail fraud thing. What we've really got here is there's a lot of scamming going on, Zeb. There's a lot of people talking out of one side of their mouth and not giving the entire story, and the media's been, the mainstream media has been terrible on this because they frankly don't understand electricity, don't understand how it works, don't understand much of anything. I sure wouldn't let them under the hood of my car. And as a consequence of that, what you've got are people going along saying, hey, I saw a story that this stuff is cheap. When Georgetown did this several years ago, Al Gore put them in their movie. In his 2017 movie that nobody watched, and they were the belle of the ball by and large because they were signing up for this, and this is Texas, and you got all these oil and gas people out there, but they're signing up for this renewable energy. Well, then the bills came due, and everything they promised them was untrue, and they signed long-term contracts for power with increases every year on the cost so that these guys could go out and borrow against it in Wall Street. I mean, it's literally, you got a bunch of fat cats, financial fat cats, and sham artists who are behind these things. And to the extent the utilities are involved in it, they're involved in the same sort of thing, to be perfectly honest with you. As I've said, at least in Idaho, you've got good hydroelectric power that backs things up and is there pretty much 24/7. But in some of these other places, it's just crazy what's going on. And the stories don't get in the press because this is one that got in the press, but only because Chuck DeVore wanted to talk about it.
Yep. Okay, but enter Idaho Power, and we also got a little feedback there. Enter Idaho Power and saying and promoting the fact that they're going to become 100% green energy in about 20 years. I mean, we're looking at exactly the same shortfalls. We're looking at exactly the same trail with a big cliff at the end of it. We're looking at absolutely higher costs. We're looking at absolutely less secure energy. If you were sitting in this chair right here, what would you do or say to Idaho Power to try to convince them to stop being cowards and come on the program and answer questions?
Yeah, well, Zeb, I know you've been after them to try to do that. The fact of the matter is they don't want to talk to people. They don't want to talk about the fact that they don't want to talk about the fact that these programs they've designed all include new costs that are going to be rolled in. I mean, those dams are paid for by and large. So you get super cheap power from those. But all these new renewable sources they want to put up, those have to be paid for. And then they have to be replaced when they wear out. They don't last 50 or 60 years or 100 years like a dam. 50 or 60 years for a coal plant or a gas plant or a nuclear plant. They last about 20 years. So you have to recapitalize them. You got to buy a new one. Twice as fast as you do another source of power, in some cases 5 times as fast as you do. And that capital all gets rolled into your bill, and you pay it.
Yep.
So, you know, I mean, the politicians have to get on these people's backs. They can't get away with it if the politicians who oversee this and the Public Utility Commission does it. But as long as they're all playing footsie, we're going to pay the bill.
You know, there's one paragraph in this story written by Chuck DeVore that I want you to respond to. I want to read it from my audience, and then I want you to respond to it. Quote, "This is where Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's Green New Deal crashes into reality. Building an energy infrastructure reliant on unreliable renewables will cost trillions of dollars and necessitate a massive increase in mining to produce the minerals needed for a nationwide battery storage system." Now, before you comment on this, creating a nationwide battery storage system, okay, all well and good. But Dan, what after the batteries are no good? What do we do with all this?
Right. Well, they can apparently recycle these batteries in some fashion, although right now it's my understanding that the cost of recycling is more expensive than the materials, the new materials for a battery. But that's not going to happen as demand goes up for these things. If they truly move, if these politicians truly move us all towards electric vehicles and electric battery storage for intermittent, unreliable, renewable energy sources, the demand for these minerals and materials is going to so skyrocket that the prices are going to follow. We know how that works, whether it's commodities or oil and gas or whatever it may be, and therefore it's going to get a lot more expensive. And plus, at the end of the day, Zeb, you have to ask yourself, what's it all for?
Yeah.
It's all sort of this dream plan that, remember, that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's chief of staff said that this had nothing to do with the climate, that the Green New Deal had nothing to do with the climate. It was about control of the economy. And that's really what it is. So to the extent that these companies go along with this stuff, they're basically saying yes to the government controlling our economy. And they may be able to benefit temporarily from that, but they're not going to benefit over the long run. Neither is our country, neither our freedoms.
You know, Dan, you study this every day. I mean, I don't know anyone that I respect more to have on this program to give us this opinion, but after studying this every day and hearing about all that's going on in energy and the Green New Deal, etc., how concerned, or I'll use a simple word, how afraid are you that this might become more prevalent here in America and soon to take over?
Well, I'm actually quite concerned about it. I mean, the fact of the matter is, as long as the media doesn't tell the story, then the mainstream media is not telling the story. They'll talk about Georgetown back when they got the grant from Bloomberg and how they're going to go 100% renewable in Texas, and isn't that wonderful? But what they won't do is do the follow-up story on and spread it about just exactly how much of a failure it was. They talk about Germany getting a lot of its power from wind, but then what they don't tell you is that the cost of their electricity in Germany is 3 times ours. So, as long as those things continue, as long as we have this corruption in the media with a failure to tell the actual story about what's going on, and everybody goes along whistling past the graveyard thinking all's fine, they'll make headway because people say, gee, I saw a thing that says it's cheaper than coal, it's cheaper than natural gas, it's cheaper than nuclear or hydro. And that's what people are doing. It makes them feel good because it's sort of like recycling. People makes them feel good to put something in the recycling bin, but in reality, if it takes more energy to recycle than it does to simply make a new one, it doesn't make any sense.
Dan, one final thought here this morning, whether it's Hollywood or whether it's sports figures or like LeBron James or anybody that thinks green energy is going to be a utopian world. I mean, you would think Hollywood would look at their whole card and say, oh boy, it's going to be a lot tougher to get people to go to the movie theaters and buy tickets because they won't have the vehicle to get there unless they live in a commune because the rural people can't afford to go anywhere. Or your movie, your sports, everybody, they're going to be losing a lot of their audience, quote unquote, because we're going to be seeing transportation severely cut back if the adaptation of green energy really comes into full effect.
Yeah, I mean the whole purpose is to give government more control and to raise the price of energy so that people will use less of them. I mean, there are people who ran around. I remember back in the Obama administration, we had an energy secretary that said we should be paying $9 a gallon for gas.
Oh, yeah.
Like the Europeans do. And without regard to the fact that almost all that cost was taxes by the government. They see it as a means of taxation. They see it as a means of control. They see it as a means to sort of levelize the playing field in a way that they see. It's all fantasy world. It's all holding Americans back from our potential that we have. We've got more energy under our feet than you can shake a stick at. We invented nuclear power. We used to lead the world in hydro, but China has left us way behind, and you can't build a dam. They're trying to pull them down now, but it's nonsense at the end of the day, because if what we're doing is giving up our liberties and simply turning control over to the government and their agents through some of these companies who've crawled in bed with them, then we're not in very good shape at all. So I'm glad you bring these issues up, and I'm glad other people like Chuck DeVore are doing it, because it needs to be said. There's big problems, and we may not see them until they actually hit.
Absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, this man is not only a friend, but he's very, very knowledgeable about what's going on in the world of energy or not. And that's, of course, Dan Kish with the American Energy Alliance. I always look forward to Tuesdays. My good friend, have a great week. We'll talk to you next week. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Zeb. God bless.
All right, sir. Dan Kish with the American Energy Alliance. And like I said earlier in the first hour, I am, right after this program, as a matter of fact, going to continue my phone calls down to Chuck DeVore with the Texas Public Policy Foundation, and he's the vice president, and I'm going to find out more about this fiasco of green energy in Georgetown, Texas. Didn't work. Isn't going to. Let's remind everybody about our dear friends at Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation. I forgot to make my appointment for this week. I'm going to call them right after the program. And they're, of course, located at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley. The number to call, and I really urge you to make an appointment, 678-1191. 678-1191, Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation with Nick Greenwell and his entire staff serving you with the exercises, the hydrotherapy pool, everything to help you get back to being you. Stop your aching and paining and get in there and let them help you at Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation. Number to call again, 678-1191. Really, really good people. Don't forget to our friends with Lennox. Let your house welcome you home with perfect temperatures. The iComfort Wi-Fi thermostat from Lennox features remote control access, so all you can do is you can adjust your home's temperature from anywhere. Find out more about it at Ramsey Heating and Electric, offering up to, with Lennox, $1,600 in rebates on a new system. Make yourself comfy. Call Ramsey Heating and Electric today at 678-0459. Want to remind you, too, about our dear friends over at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. I got to get a hold of old Jeff after the program, as a matter of fact, and I urge you to do the same, to get a hold of these folks for the beautification and comfortization of your home. Now, here we are, September 3rd. It's hard to believe, isn't it? September 3rd already? Well, I know you're going to be spending a lot more time indoors, and you said to your wife the other day, ugly furniture, we've got to get rid of this. Well, now's the time to stop in and check out all the great furniture, the recliners, all the sofas, and they've got all the bedroom sets, and they've got all the mattresses, and they've got all the carpet, they've got all the luxury vinyl planks. They've got it all right there for you and your home at Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. They're located at 459 Overland in Burley, and I urge you to stop in and see them today. The best, Lee's Furniture, Floors, and More. Real quick, before we go to our attorney friend Tim Snowball, I want to remind you about Let's Ride. Oh, boy, I mean, get your motor running. Let's Ride, 270 Highway 24, between Rupert and the entire world. Man, I'm telling you, they've got all the 2020 models coming in, and that means you can treat yourself to saving money on the 2019, all the four-wheelers and the side-by-sides and everything. Oh, my, save money and get out and enjoy the great outdoors of Idaho. Absolutely, and they've got all the accessories, and above all, they've got a super service department to keep you running. Let's Ride, 270 Highway 24, between Rupert and the world, and it's true, this is where the fun is sold. Let's Ride.
Sir?
Yes.
Do you have a backup for Mr. Snowball?
Read the number off to me quickly.
Okay, so 619.
Yes.
368.
Yes.
8237.
That is the only number that I have, and keep calling it. He should be there, and I, in turn, will have Deanne call another lawyer in another city, Washington, D.C., to verify where he is. Okay?
All right.
All right, thank you. In the interim, calls are welcome and appreciated. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. While Wheels is trying to run down our attorney friend, I'd like to have your calls. Every single person from ranchers to consumers, from grocery stores to every feed outlet, it doesn't make any difference. Every single person should be turning their back and be outraged against Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders, if he gets 5 votes in the state of Idaho, that would be 4 too many, came out last week with a stand against U.S. agriculture and specifically the beef industry. And at a rally last week for wild-haired Bernie, some very unknowledgeable woman in the audience stated that animals were huge contributors to climate change. And Bernie agreed and said that when he becomes president, he would absolutely create huge taxes on the meat industry, whether it's beef, whether it's pork, or whether it's poultry. Now, what are your thoughts on this? They are, being the left and Bernie, trying to turn us into a completely vegetarian society, if that. Honestly, I read a book some time ago, it's been years, and it was all about what's going to happen in the future. I don't think it was in the book 1984, but it was another book, and they were talking about how the American public are going to be subservient to the government and only get their meal, if you want to call it that, squeezed out of a toothpaste container. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Mr. Bell. You know, I want to know where these people think that we are going to get our groceries, how we are going to eat if they keep going after our meat industry, our food industry. What the heck are they thinking?
I can't give them the credit of thinking. I'm sorry, I can't be that gratuitous to them because I've been accused of calling Bernie names, and I have, and I continue to do so because I think Bernie Sanders is one of the dumbest communists/socialists that ever sat in public office in America and should be thoroughly removed and never to be considered for even the town dog catcher.
Oh, I think I'm right there with you. You know, he is such a hypocrite. You know, he's going to tax the wealthy, and he's going to do this, go after big business. Well, heck, he's part of the problem.
But, you know, you mentioned about food. We are so blessed, and we're not smart enough to realize it. Donna, you know as well as I do that our nation's farmers and ranchers absolutely do a fantastic job in providing food not only for us in this country, but also for the world. And I've said it for a long time on this program, and you've heard me say it, that any country that is not able to feed itself is subservient to other countries. In other words, we would be a third world country dictated to by others.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. That's what I said. And you're right, they're not thinking either. They're just wanting to get votes. But I can't imagine any informed citizen or any person that I know would vote for something so ludicrous.
I am totally at a loss, Donna. I really am. I'm at a complete loss as to how someone like Bernie Sanders, a communist, and a complete idiot when it comes to the values of this country as to how this country has become great. How can anybody, do you know anybody in your neck of the woods that would vote for him?
Nope. I don't know. I don't know a single soul that I know of that would vote for anything so stupid and ridiculous. And, you know, they think they're winning. They think they're winning because people are cheering them on, and, you know, the Cortez and her 3 ilks. You know, they just keep on going, and they get worse and worse every day. They get more, I don't know what the term is, but to me it's just stupidity.
Well, it's not only stupidity, but there's another fear factor there, and you know I'm right when I say this, that of all the media, whether it's MSNBC, CBS, NBC, it doesn't make any difference, CNN, they promote this vein of thought. And that's what's scary to me, is because we have a lot of the millennials. We have a lot of the people that don't know and understand and really don't do any research on their own that are buying into their stupidity programs. And this is what really scares me.
Yeah, it does me too. That's what I was trying to get across. I just don't understand how people can think that this is going to be okay.
Donna, I appreciate your call as always. God bless you and have a wonderful day.
You too, my friend. Have a good one.
All right, thank you. Wheels, do we have our attorney friend Tim Snowball on the phone?
He was, but then he hung up, so I'm going to have to go ahead and try to call him back again.
Tell him he'd better not hang up the next time, or I'll fly a private plane and we will have a talking to. Okay. Thank you very much. And right now, I also want to remind you about our friends at Cameron and Siemens Insurance. When you talk about life insurance, health insurance, retirement planning, and employee benefits, you have to remember our dear friends at Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. They are very dedicated and very responsive to your needs and very accessible too. So please give them a call and let them help you, your family, and your business. Cameron and Siemens Insurance, Highway 24 in Rupert. That number to call, 436-4424. Once again, 436-4424. Do we have Mr. Snowball on the phone, Wheels?
Give me one moment.
All right, we're waiting patiently. I don't know what happened. Scheduled for a 9:30 interview. Hopefully he's going to be there. Tim, are you there? Not yet.
Trying to get him, sir.
All right. Trying to find him this time, and want to urge you that at 10 o'clock this morning, 10:06 to be exact, we're going to have Dr. History on the program. It's Tuesday, and everybody looks forward to Dr. History, so don't miss that at 10:06. Tim, are you there?
Hold up, sir.
Wheels, never mind. Cancel the call. Thank you. I can't be held in limbo like that, so thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, calls are welcome at 436-2244-1866. 92. No, I'm not going to take his call right now. We're way too far in this segment. Thank you. Give me a call at 436-2244-1866-927-4587, and we will open up the format for you. When I have somebody scheduled at a certain time, I expect them to be there at a certain time. So you, the audience, can give us a call right now. We'd love to hear from you, so thank you very much. Congratulations to a comeback that was really amazing. I did not see this game on Saturday. And I'm referring to Boise State University in their first game of the season against a major Power 5 football team, Florida State University. And at first, when I was trying to hear the radio reports and I'd run out, I was at an event and I'd go out and I'd pick up the radio and, oh my goodness, they're behind like 18 points. And I thought, doomsday USA, Boise State's not going to be able to come back from this. Holy moly. Congratulations to Boise State University, the toughness and the tenacity, and a new, real freshman quarterback, Hank Backmeyer. Woo! All of college football is talking this morning, as they have over the whole weekend, about Boise State and their great big comeback, and especially this new kid, Hank Backmeyer. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Well, Hank was as calm as a cucumber. I don't know if that's a word or a phrase or not, but so was the kicker. The kicker wasn't on the sideline constantly kicking at, they just get themselves amped up. They just go in there and blow it. This kid was sitting there relaxed. He just seemed like, yeah, it's all right. It's just a field goal. I've only kicked 1 million of them. And he kicked 5 or whatever he did, and then Bachmeier was just so relaxed. And I said, Rippon used to get amped up and he made me nervous. He'd screw up, throw an interception. Bachmeier was just relaxed. It was, it was so nice. But, it always comes back down to just steady as you go. Everybody do your job. We'll wear these boys down.
Yeah, but Randy, wait a minute. I know he was cool, calm, and collected. I know he played cool hand Luke out on the football field with 280-pound defensive linemen laying on him after they'd smeared him into the grass. But really, this kid a year ago was playing high school football.
I tell you what. These kids are more mature. They study their film. They understand plays. It's amazing. He earned the job. And see what it does is this kind of exposure gets Boise State more recruits in the future. Remember how Rippon won the job and the other quarterback went to North Carolina and he was a star there?
Yep.
And we forgot about that. Well, that was a starter here, and he got hurt. See, these are kinds of things that help Boise State recruit new players. They had 4 4-star recruits this year in their recruiting class. As far as the Mountain West is concerned, they kicked the hell out of the rest of the division because they out-recruited them by far.
Well, I know, in fairness to the situation and the story, and I'm not going to stay on football at a long time this morning, but in fairness to the situation, Florida State University has had a lot of problems over the last, let's say, 5 years of developing a resurgence in their football program that absolutely at one time was the most dominant in the United States, along with Ohio State. And they said before the game that they were going to be a real force this year. Well, they look good at various times, but you got to give credit to tenacity and not giving up for Boise State Broncos, because all of us in the state should be very proud of what they did, coming back from an 18-point deficit and winning that football game.
Well, they made adjustments on defense. They made adjustments on offense. Of course, they were running the ball the whole time. In fact, one guy said they look like Wisconsin. They're just lining up and saying, okay, stop us, and they couldn't. And they ran the ball all day. And so it was great. Well, the reason I called was, when you have free market capitalism and I'm out here on a business at a Sunrise Organics, and I tell you what, these entrepreneurs are unbelievable, and they're across this nation. And there's no way that anybody could come in here and tell these people how to do this and be successful like these people have done.
Amen.
We just could never destroy free market capitalism. I'm going to hang up. Thank you.
All right, buddy. Thank you very much. Caller number 2, I'm going to come to your call before I do the weather. I don't want to keep you waiting. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, one comment on, on the Boise State game. Did you notice how well the training staff done that I didn't see any of the Boise State boys cramping up when there were several of the Florida kids that were down on the field with cramps?
Doug, that was a comment that was made in quite a few of the ESPN interviews and other network sports shows, is here comes Boise State out of the Intermountain area with no humidity, and they played down in Florida you can see pig sweat down there in that country, and they outplayed Florida State, and you're right, they were trained, they knew how to handle the situation, their training staff and their coaching staff really had them on a regimen before they left the state of Idaho, so they were prepared for it. And let me tell you, I've been in that area numerous times in Florida, and in the summertime, you don't want to be there.
Well, you can take a shower and never dry off.
There you go.
I've trucked back in that country, and once you get back there, like I say, you just constantly wet.
But
I was.
You're 100% right, though, as far as the training staff and the coaching staff and everything. Those kids look like they were much more adapted to the environment than Florida State's kids.
Yeah, and it's supposed to have been a night game.
Yeah.
Which they moved it, and it was a day game, and it was almost 95-plus degrees on the field. They showed the thermometer a couple times down on the field. I mean, you got to hand it to those boys. And one thing I did hear that up in their training facility, they had the temperature turned up to 106 degrees, and they were spraying water into their misters to get the humidity up.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what they were training in.
Let me tell you something. I admire the coaching, and I admire the research that went into going into that area, because like you said, it was supposed to be a night game, and then they moved it to start our time, 10 o'clock in the morning, which means noon, high noon back there. And I can't think of a worse place to be on the floor of a stadium with 65,000 people all around you. That's got to be hot.
Oh, yes, definitely. And my hat's off to them, the boys, the coaching staff, and that new quarterback. I think he's going to be one to watch.
Well, we don't know if he's going to be a one-bullet Barney or not. How he's going to play this next week, that's all to be seen and reckoned with. But I'll tell you what, if there's anything on his plate right now that stands out, is that he didn't quit, and everybody that talked to him in the huddle said, hey, here's a freshman looking us in the eye and saying, we are going to do this, and you're going to do your job. I mean, the kid's only a freshman. He was in high school last year.
I know it. Yes, exactly. I'm impressed.
All right.
I'm glad to watch it. So, anyway, God bless.
Doug, thank you. God bless you. Appreciate it. Calls are, well, I got to get a weather forecast on here. Holy moly. And the weather is brought to you this hour by our friends at Phillips Oaks Goodwin Crane and Company. My goodness, they've been providing accounting services to the Mini-Cassia area for well over 50 years. Over 50 years of serving you with the best of tax return preparation, tax planning, business consulting, retirement planning, all of this and so much more. Don't forget, it's easy. You please get a hold of them with offices in Burley and Rupert and let them serve you. Offices at 1710 Overland in Burley and 625th Street in Rupert. Phillips Oaks Goodwin Crane and Company. And right now, here's Gina and the weather.
Going to be a nice day as we are kicking off this first week of September. Here's a look at your weather forecast. A little bit on the warm side. We are expecting mostly sunny skies for today with a high of 90. Tonight, partly cloudy with a low of 57. Tomorrow, another nice one, mostly sunny skies, high of 90. But by Wednesday evening, we are expecting a slight chance of late evening rain showers and thunderstorms, expecting a low of 57. Those could carry over for Thursday, about a 20% chance, cooling off to about 86. Chance of showers, about a 40% chance for Thursday night with a low of 58, and could carry over for Friday as well with a high of 81. That's a look at your weather forecast for 7th Ranch.
I appreciate it, Gina, and thank you very much. Don't forget, get a hold of the pros that can work with you and for you, your family, and your business. Phillips Oaks Goodwin Crane and Company. They can help people starting a business or a partnership or maybe a corporation, or maybe you want to expand your business and hire more employees. Please, for all of your questions, get a hold of Phillips Oaks Goodwin Crane and Company today, with offices in Burley and Rupert. Wow, calls are welcome and appreciated. 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. One thing that really bothered me this last week, on Friday morning, I turned on the news, and I'd like to have you respond to this real quick. The Democrats last week, on behalf of the party, the DNC, said that they are going after and welcoming non-religious people into their party, saying that the Democrats represent them. I said months ago the Democratic Party was evil. I said months ago that I thought the Democratic Party, in my opinion, was godless. And it seems to be that they are showing those colors. The person that was on TV, and then an article that I have here, makes statements about how they're going after the non-religious people because they feel like the non-religious people would be better represented by the Democratic Party. How does that make you feel? I mean, we have enough evil in the world today. We have a lack of morality. We've got a lack of caring. We've got a lack of right and wrong. And the Democrats are out soliciting for the non-religious people into their party. Calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. Don't forget again, let your house welcome you home. Hi, Andy, with the perfect temperature. The iComfort Wi-Fi thermostat from Lennox features remote control access so you can adjust your home's temperature from anywhere. My goodness. You can check on this with Ramsey Heating and Electric and Lennox, offering up to $1,600 in rebates on a new system. So make yourself comfortable. Call Ramsey Heating and Electric at 678-0459. And don't forget, you can also visit them online at ramseysonline.com and check it out today. Ramsey Heating and Electric and Lennox. Got time for another call. Give me a jingle, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. The fourth annual, and we're going to be talking about this at 10:30 this morning with George Mass, the fourth annual Patriotic Show and Shine, free to the public, standing for the red, white, and blue, is going to be over at the Rupert Square in Rupert on September 13th, Patriots Day, and then the car show on September 14th. Don't miss this. George is going to tell us all about it at about 10:30 this morning. It's the fourth annual Patriotic Show and Shine over on the City Square in Rupert, coming up on September 13 and 14. And all the fun, it's free. Everything. All right, calls welcome, 436-2244, 1-866-927-4587. If you bow your head in prayer at noon, say a little prayer about our friends that have suffered greatly and severely in the Bahamas, and also now up against the coast of Florida with the absolutely devastating effects, whether it is full power or not. The Hurricane Dorian has caused just absolute messes. I mean, it's flattened, literally flattened many of the homes and businesses in the Bahamas, and has caused already deaths and many, many injuries. And we certainly hope and pray for all of our friends back on the East Coast. I personally am going to try to get a hold of a couple of people that have been on my program numerous times that are right now in the path, if you will, of this hurricane. Dan Perkins, who's on this program many, many times, is one of them, and we're going to try to get a hold of him maybe tomorrow morning to see exactly what's going on or not going on with this hurricane in his area. So our prayers go out to all of those great folks down there that are really going through some trials and turmoil with that hurricane. Right now, we're going to take a little break, and already in the house and raring to go is, of course, our dear friend, Dr. History, coming up next hour. And then at 10:30, George Mass is going to be here. We got a great big stable of guests coming on the program. Zeb at the Ranch, and right now, Wheels, it's all yours. I bet you thought I forgot to turn my mic on. Well, I did. Good morning, hour number 3. Zeb at the Ranch, and of course, we're brought to you by our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you with the best, that's not brag, that's a fact, the best of safe driving tires. And of course, some of our great advertisers like Burley Physical Therapy and Rehabilitation at 1263 Bennett Avenue, Suite 2 in Burley, helping you get back to being you. And Greystone Crossing, Independent Senior Living at 1221 21st Street in Hayburn. Seniors living the good life with friends. Absolutely. We're going to have Dr. History here in just a moment. Stand by, but I also want to remind you about our friends at Patterson's, 421 East Main in Burley. Curtis and Lorena, these are the nicest people. And believe me, this is your electronic needs headquarters. They've got it all. They've got it all right there at Patterson's at 421 East Main. All the home theater systems. They've got all the video surveillance cameras. They've got all the car stereos and speakers, complete sound systems, all your TVs. I mean, the list goes on and on. They're open Monday through Saturday, 9 to 6. Please stop in and see them today. Patterson's at 421 East Main in Burley, 678-6997. Want to also remind you, too, about our friends at Lennox. We've been telling you all morning long, let your house welcome you home with perfect temperatures. The iComfort Wi-Fi thermostat from Lennox features remote control access so you can adjust your home's temperature from anywhere. Find out more. Ramsey Heating and Electric and Lennox offering up to $1,600 in rebates on a new system. Make yourself comfy. Call Ramsey Heating and Electric today at 678-0459. Ramsey Heating and Electric and Lennox. And right now, without further ado, here he is, ladies and gentlemen, back from fly fishing, Dr. History.
Good morning, Zeb.
How are you, my
I'm
friend?
great. Yep, I did have a good week fly fishing on the Teton River up there out of Driggs, Idaho.
Oh, my.
Neat experience. Beautiful country up there, too. You know that. So,
what are we going to talk about today?
We are going to talk about a guy. Now, I'm going to step out on a limb and say that I'm going to bet not hardly anybody has heard of this guy. His name is Mike Tovey. Tovey.
Never.
Mike Tovey.
Nope.
Okay, so let's talk about him. So Wells Fargo and the Company's Express was one of the most important businesses on the western frontier. The company began as a local mail delivery service during the California Gold Rush in 1852, and a time when the U.S. Post Service was all but non-existent in the mining camps. They really didn't have much. And the other thing that was great is Wells Fargo was safe, and unlike the post office, if you lost something, they made up for it. All the losses were made up if you lost something that was being guarded by Wells Fargo.
Really?
So
back in those days?
Yeah. So it grew rapidly throughout the West, connecting the big towns, the small towns, and eventually, of course, became the country's largest express carrier. Now, obviously, the robbers followed the money, and during the late 1850s, stagecoach holdups became very, very common in California because of all the gold, you know. So Wells Fargo began hiring armed guards, and they were later called shotgun messengers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm going to explain that in a minute.
Okay.
And these guys were to accompany the treasure shipments, and contrary to popular belief, they did not guard stagecoaches. They were there to protect the Wells Fargo strong boxes. They really didn't guard the stagecoach, even though that's what they were on. And
what about the passengers?
Well, you know, in the course of things, I'm sure they helped protect them.
Yeah.
But really, their job was to guard the strong boxes, the money. Huh. Now, the title shotgun messenger did not come into popular use until the 1870s, and the term riding shotgun and shotgun rider was actually invented by 20th century novelists and actually was unknown in the Old West. So the real term was shotgun messenger. So riding shotgun really was not the term that was used.
Yeah.
Now, by the mid-1870s, the company had 35 shotgun messengers. That number grew to 110 in the 1880s, and then 200 by 1885. By 1918, the company employed 3,000 shotgun guards. Now, at this time, they were mostly on trains on the railroads.
Mm-hmm.
And every Wells Fargo rail car had at least one armed messenger and a lot of time a helper. So a lot of times they'd even have two guys. Now, of these guards, Wells Fargo Chief Detective James B. Hume explained, quote, "In all my experience, there has never been an occasion when a regular shotgun messenger showed the white feather, no matter what the odds against him or the promise of danger might be. They are the kind of men you can depend on if you get in a fix with the certainty that they will pull you through or stay by you to the last."
White
So
feather.
the term, I've never heard that
I've
term.
never heard that.
Showed the white feather. So I
Really?
thought that was an interesting.
I've heard wave the white flag, but never
not
the white feather.
Yeah. So the shotgun messengers who rode for Wells Fargo in the Wild West, they were expected to risk their lives to protect the company's treasure boxes. I don't know how much they got paid, but it probably wasn't enough. Their work was dangerous, and between 1855 and 1915, at least 53 of these Wells Fargo expressmen, most of them the messengers, died in the line of duty.
No kidding.
53 of them,
Wow.
yeah. Now, and the statistics go on. It says 19 were slain by outlaws or bandits, 4 were accidentally shot, 4 more died in shipwrecks and steamboat explosions. Now, you don't think of those guys being on boats, really, do you? I mean, a
no,
ship
I never thought
or
about
a
it.
steamboat. But,
Yeah.
Wells Fargo obviously had them
Now,
on
did
there.
their job, did they have to, when they were on these boats and trains, stay right in the car and or on the boat right next to the...
Well, I'm just going to assume they did.
Okay.
Because obviously that was their job.
Yeah.
So some of them perished in train wrecks, trains would crash. But few of them took as many risks as a guy by the name of Mike Tovey. Okay. Now, born in Canada in 1842, Tovey immigrated with his family to the American Midwest when he was 6 years old. During the Civil War, his twin brother Peter enlisted in the Union Army, while Mike drifted west and became a pony rider for Ben Holliday's Overland Mail and Express Company. Now, this was dangerous work, but it brought him to the attention of Wells Fargo. So in 1871, he signed on as a shotgun messenger on this really dangerous bandit-infested stage road from the Union Pacific Railhead at Corinne, Utah. You know where that is, Zeb?
Yeah, I've been there many times.
Yeah, not very far from us, just to the east and south there.
South of Tremont.
Yeah. And from there to Helena, Montana.
Woo!
So that was kind of his route, I guess, if you want to call it.
Now, do you know where the route went?
Not exactly. I'm assuming from Corinne, it had to go up through Pocatello, Idaho Falls, up into Montana. Wouldn't you think that would probably be the route? So, but Mike Tovey quickly exhibited a pretty brave, fearless guy. He was a big guy. He stood more than 6 feet tall, 200 pounds, and as one of his stage driver's friends recalled, quote, "Brave men don't talk much, and Tovey would rather sit and tell you a funny story than blow about himself."
Did they go back to? No, they weren't on stages on that route. They were on private horseback, right?
Well, no, this was, I believe, a stage line.
So they ran from Corinne up to
Montana.
I see, on a stage.
Right.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
And I think most of it was staged.
I see.
But then gradually moved into be trains. Now, in 1875, Wells Fargo officials sent Tovey to Nevada to guard the company's express boxes on the stage routes from Virginia City to Pioche and between Carson City, Nevada, and the rowdy town of Bodie, California.
Oh,
now,
boy.
these were some pretty lawless areas at that time.
Really.
But anyway, Mike was on that route on September 4th, 1880, when he found himself walking in front of his stage at night in the blackness. His lantern lit up the outlines of footprints in the middle of this dusty stage road. He'd stopped, okay? So he's out in front of the stage, and he sees footprints. Okay.
Why were they out in the dark where they couldn't see with the stage
Well,
anyway?
they still had the lanterns on the stagecoach.
I see.
And they went night and day.
I see.
Now, 3 hours earlier, a coach had been held up on the same highway, and Tovey suspected that the bandits might be hanging around waiting somewhere ahead of him. So he walked back to the stagecoach, he climbed into the driver's seat, rested his sawed-off shotgun across his knees. If the outlaws wanted to fight, he was ready for them. So now it's 3 o'clock in the morning, 3 a.m. This heavy stagecoach rumbled into a place called Sweetwater Summit. It's kind of a high spot, 6,800 feet high in Nevada's Sweetwater Mountains, and this is about 40 miles north of Bodie. Now, once again, the alert Wells Fargo man spotted footprints in the light of the coach's headlamps. So he got down with his lantern to inspect them, then he got back on. He sat next to the driver, and there was a stage line agent by the name of Billings next to them. So now you got the driver, Tovey, and Billings. Okay, there'd been so many holdups on the highway between Bodie and Carson City that a second Wells Fargo shotgun messenger, a guy by the name of Tom Woodruff, rode inside with the passengers. So they've got a lot of help right here.
Firepower.
Yeah. So the stage continued a short distance when Tubby again saw the footprints. He climbed down, walked forward. He was inspecting the tracks. As the stage followed slowly behind him, suddenly a voice rang out from the blackness, from the dark, quote, "You son of a gun."
I'll bet that's what it was.
"You son of a gun, you thought you'd sneak up on us, did you?" This is a family show, Zeb. You know that. So Mike.
Well, you were always relating to the honesty and integrity of the Old West.
That's right. I'm sure they never swore. Mike Tuvey had no way of knowing that the voice belonged to a guy named William Jones, an ex-convict. He and his partner, Milt Sharp. Now, remember this Milt Sharp. He comes into play later. And they'd been on a terrific spree of stage robbery for the past 4 months. They'd held up 7 stagecoaches in California and Nevada.
Holy cow.
So they were on a run, and 2 of them in the last few days. So these 2 guys, Jones and Sharp, met the winter before on a sheep ranch in the Sierra Nevada foothills near Placer County, California. And Sharp, who was born in Missouri in 1846, had led an honest life. He was doing okay. But when he came west in 1866 and was working as a miner in California and Nevada, he was a gentleman who did not smoke or drink. But Sharp had lost all his earnings, all his money gambling in the mining stocks. So Jones convinced him they could make a pretty good living by robbing stages. So Sharp and Jones joined company. Now, we're back to the robbery, okay? So Tuvey, hearing Jones shout, he pretended to be afraid. He said, "Don't shoot." He says, "I'll go back and get the box." And Jones said, and I'm going to quote this, "Go back, you whelp, and if you make a move, we'll murder every mother's son of you." That's the way they talked. Now, Jones, who then raised his rifle and fired twice. Now, the first bullet went right past Tuvey, struck one of the lead horses in the head, killing the animal instantly.
That might not have been a very
so
good
now
shot.
you've got a dead horse laying there.
And you need to pull the stage.
Yeah. Now, the second shot passed between the driver and Billings. Tovey dove for cover under the stagecoach, and then he whispered to Billings, he said, "Hand me down that shotgun." Okay. So Billings tossed him the shotgun, jumped down from the box. So here we have Tovey and Billings. Now the guy that's inside the stage, Woodruff, they took cover behind the stage. At that, Jones yelled, the robber, Jones yelled, quote, if you fellows fire a gun, we will murder every son of a gun of you."
Yep, there you go again with honest verbiage.
Yes. Now, so Tovey says, nobody's firing any guns, but he cocked the hammer on his shotgun. And he said, "What's the matter with you? If you want anything, come along." Well, so Jones then stepped forward into the light of the headlamps. Now remember, it's 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Tovey called out in a low voice to the driver. He says, "Throw down the box quick and let's get out of this." So he's still trying to egg Jones to come in, thinking that these guys are afraid of him. Well, at the same time, Tovey, he crouched, rested the barrel of his shotgun on top of the rear wheel. Just as Jones passed the body of the fallen horse that was dead, Tovey fired one barrel. The heavy load of buckshot tore into Jones's face and neck, killing him instantly. Milt Sharp, the other outlaw.
Oh, yeah, I wondered what happened to him.
Okay, here he is. He's armed with a six-shooter. He opened fire, and Tovey staggered as a bullet tore into his right arm. It shattered the bone below the elbow. He dropped his shotgun. Now, this is a tough guy. Drew his six-gun with his left hand and started shooting back. Okay, now by this time, Billings and Woodruff, the other 2 guys, they get their guns into play, and they are sending a volley of shots towards Sharp. Well, they saw him stagger and thought that they got him, and they chased him, but he got away in the dark. So at this point, Tovey, he's bleeding pretty bad. I mean, he got shot in the arm and had probably hit an artery or whatever.
Sure, yeah.
So Woodruff and Billings, they carried him to a house a short distance down the road, and while the unarmed driver kind of tried to calm his team, and he unhitched the dead horse, because obviously he wasn't going to be any help.
Well, now there's an understatement.
Yeah. And all of a sudden, he heard a voice say, "Throw down the box." So here's Sharp. shows up again.
Oh, he turned around
He
and came
back. He returned to finish the robbery.
Oh.
So the driver tossed down the Wells Fargo box, and Sharp chopped it open with a hatchet, took out $750 in cash. So the bandit, Sharp, he didn't know. He couldn't see Jones's body because it lay under the team of the horses, and he asked which way his partner had gone. He didn't know.
Oh, he didn't know he was dead.
So the driver, fearing for his life, said he didn't know. So Sharp, his gun in one hand and his loot in the other, he took off into the darkness, and he kept calling out for Jones. He said, "Partner, where are you?"
Oh, the driver could hear him yelling?
Yeah.
Oh, my.
Yeah, but he still didn't know that at that point that his partner was dead.
Yeah.
Well, Mike Tovey was loaded into a wagon for a 60-mile trip to Carson City. Now, this has got to be painful, right? He's been shot in the arm. He was treated, and soon he was up and about, his arm heavily bandaged. Meanwhile, Wells Fargo detectives searched Jones's body, the outlaw, and found a bank book in his pockets with his name and a San Francisco address. Okay? The plot thickens. Police detectives staked out the boarding house where they soon captured Milt Sharp.
He went back.
He was sentenced to 20 years in the Nevada State Prison, and Mike Tovey's action in the holdup had been a sign of Wells Fargo's reputation for safety and security on the frontier.
Wow.
And we're not done.
Oh, okay.
So, over the years, Tovey was dispatched to wherever Wells Fargo needed a good, experienced messenger. I mean, he went to...
Did he ever regain the use of his arm?
You know, I don't think he really ever totally did. It doesn't really tell me that. But he recovered enough, and I don't know. But he went into Utah, Montana, Arizona, and finally back to Nevada. Now, in 1884, at Hawthorne, Nevada, he was shot and wounded by a guy by the name of Bill Withrow. He was a gunfighter and actually a former Wells Fargo messenger whom Tovey had accused of helping in a stage holdup. So they weren't friends.
Oh.
Well, in 1887, Mike Tovey was ordered to California, where he rode the stage routes of Amador and Calaveras counties in the Sierra Nevada foothills. 2 years later, Milt Sharp escaped the Nevada State Prison.
Oh, Milt's back.
He's back in the picture. Following his escape, Wells Fargo officials received a letter supposedly written by Sharp warning them that they had better retire Tovey or he would be killed. Kind of a warning. Well, later Tovey Later, Tovey actually received a letter, again signed by Sharp, warning him to leave California or, quote, take the same medicine dealt out to poor Jones. The veteran messenger, Tovey ignored the threats.
I see.
He didn't think this was ever going to happen. Then, at 7 o'clock on the morning of April 30th, 1892, Tovey boarded a stage in San Andreas, bound for a place called Sheep Ranch in the mountains, 16 miles to the east. The Wells Fargo box held a mine payroll of $4,000 in gold coin. The coach was a canvas-topped, and they called it, quote, a mud wagon. So I've never quite heard that term. So what they say, it's like a big buggy with 3 seats. So I'm assuming it's kind of like a covered wagon.
Yeah,
of some kind. Yeah. So the front seat held Tovey and the driver, who was actually a 17-year-old boy by the name of Reggio. A 17-year-old driver, pretty young. The next seat was occupied by Johanna, a young girl age 15, and her sister Louisa, age 14, and the rear seat held 2 more female passengers. So we got Tovey and Reggio in the front, then we got the 2 sisters, and then we got 2 female passengers.
Not much support.
No, and I'm assuming this is kind of like it's out in the open, maybe not even covered at all. Well, as the coach reached a place called Willow Creek, a masked bandit came out from behind a big boulder above the stage road. Without a warning, he fired a single blast from his shotgun. 2 box shots struck the driver, Reggio, in the right shoulder, and 2 more in his chest, piercing his right lung. He turned in his seat, and as blood poured from his mouth, he gasped, "They've killed me, Tovey. Look out for the horses." Well, at the same time, another buckshot tore into Mike's right arm, and so here's right arm got hit again.
Wow.
Another struck Johanna, the young girl, and it killed her. Well, a huge manhunt failed to capture the killer, and Tuvey and Reggio were actually recovered from their wounds.
Oh, the boy didn't die.
No, he didn't die, the 17-year-old. So in May of 1893, Mike received another letter signed Sharp saying that, quote, he had better leave Wells Fargo service and get out of the state, otherwise he would have to be killed. A few weeks later, on the afternoon of June 15, 1893, he boarded the stage, bound for Jackson. At the reins of the six-horse team was Tuvey's good friend, Clint Radcliffe, a veteran driver. Inside the coach were 4 passengers, including 2 women, a boy, and a 5th rode on top. It was 5:30 when the stage reached a kind of a lonely spot on this grade, 5 miles west of Jackson. Several of the passengers heard a sudden shout for the stage to stop. Radcliffe made out nothing. He didn't hear this. And a split second later, gunfire shattered the evening stillness. A lone bandit stood behind a 3-foot-high rock on the right side of the road, working with the lever of his .44 Winchester. His first bullet struck Mike Tuvey in the right side, fracturing one rib and rupturing his aorta. The Wells Fargo man started to fall from the stage, and Radcliffe yanked him upright, held him on. By the time Radcliffe managed to stop the coach, Mike Tuvey was dead.
Oh, my goodness.
After having been hit that many times.
Wow.
Now, Milt Sharp. Let's get back to him.
Yeah, we only got a minute.
I know. That's what I need. Milt Sharp was captured in Red Bluff in Northern California 3 months later, and he actually managed to prove that he had led an honest life since his escape, and he had alibis from his employers showing that he could not have been at the murder of Tuvey. And they actually found that there was an ex-convict named William Evans. He was the guy that actually shot and killed Mike Tuvey. So he was laid to rest in a cemetery, and the marker said, quote, he was shot and instantly killed by a robber who attempted to hold up the stage on which he was traveling as guard, erected as a tribute of respect by his employers. So that was on his headstone, and he remains one of the most famous of the men who rode for Wells Fargo. Now, wouldn't that be a good movie, Sam?
Oh, man. Yeah, I really enjoyed that story. Mike Tuvey. Hero of Wells Fargo. Yeah. Okay. I'm running a little bit late, so I got to quickly, don't leave, I got to ask you a question. Running a little bit late, but I want to remind everybody this Saturday, Doc, you need to be there, up at the Zollinger Quarter Horse Ranch. This Saturday, September 7th, at Zollinger Quarter Horse Ranch up in Oakley for their 31st annual production sale. Oh, outstanding. Fillies and Colts from Bloodlines, from Playgun, Pepto Boone's Mall, Bodie Boone's Mall, Leo, Shining Spark, Poco Tivio, all of this and more. I'll tell you, call Jerry for more information at 208-670-3833. Outstanding production sale at Zollinger Quarter Horse Ranch this coming Saturday, and that, of course, starting at 11 o'clock at the ranch in Oakley at 1994 South, 100 East of Oakley. You be there. Also, another sale. I'll tell you about that one a little bit later, but I've also got to remind you real quick about our friends at Greystone Crossing. Wow. I mean, this is an outstanding place. We took a tour over there the other day. A 12-bedroom home, Greystone Crossing Independent Senior Living on Alfresco Road. They provide 3 meals a day, plus snacks, plus housekeeping and local transportation, all included in the rent. It's beautiful. I know. I have seen it. I've been there. You'd better call and make an appointment and look at it yourselves. Call 650-4979. Contact Matt or Kelly Wiggins, 650-4979. Greystone Crossing Independent Senior Living on Alfresco Road, just 1 mile east of Walmart. Let's send it over to our main studios. We'll be back in about 3 minutes.
And now, back to Zeb at the Ranch on AM 1230 KBAR. To reach Zeb, call 436-2244 or toll free 1-866-927-4587. And now, here is Zeb Bell.
Oh, thank you very much, and welcome back to our last half hour. I want to remind you, a big sale coming up this Saturday, September 7th at Buell, Idaho, the Ken and Joyce Allred Moving Sale, managed by the Bennett Boys Auction Service. And oh my goodness, are they going to have a lot lot of farm equipment and machinery, including a Massey Ferguson 65 Dieselmatic tractor, yard and garden material, Murray riding lawnmower, shop equipment, furniture and kitchen, recreation utensils, all kinds of great things at this sale Saturday, September 7th, this coming Saturday at 10:30 over in Buell, 19818 Highway 30. Look for the signs, lunch by the Cook Shack, sale managed by the Bennett Boys Auction Service. No sale too big, no sale too small. The Bennett Boys, they sell them all. And right now in the studio with us is our dear friend George Mass. My goodness, how are you?
Doing good, Zeb. With me I brought David Fairchild. He is on the board with the Rupert Veterans Memorial.
Hi, David. How you doing?
Doing fine. How about you?
You know, I apologize. When he walked in the door, I didn't recognize him at first, and he has been on the program before.
Yes.
He's got hair.
His wife is kinder than mine, I guess. I don't know.
You're a dead man. What is going on, George?
Well, I'd like to turn it over to David right now. We'd like to cover the Patriot program that we've got, and the city, Rupert, Kelly Anthon, is and David has worked their back ends off to get this going. And so, anyway, I'll turn it over to David.
David, good morning. Go ahead, sir.
Good morning. Just briefly, we're going to put on the Patriot program for all the fifth graders in Minidoka County from the schools. So we've got an exciting program planned for them. We're going to start off with some flag history. We've got veterans coming in for questions and answers from the kids. Flag education and etiquette. Going to teach them how to fold a flag.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're going to write some letters for Operation Gratitude. And then we have a patriotic display by Anna Workman, and then a military display that's for the kids to ask questions and that type of thing. So
God bless you guys. You know, David, I don't think enough can be said as thank yous for what you guys are trying to do. Are there other areas, not only here in the state of Idaho, but across the United States, that are as diligent in doing what you're doing about our flag and our country?
None to my knowledge, but hopefully we can spark something and get some stuff going across the country. That would be great.
So. Now, what about this is going to be on Friday, the 13th of September?
Correct.
Okay. Now, give us a little bit of the parameters. Are all the school kids going to try to be there, or what's going to happen?
Just fifth graders.
Fifth graders.
Right.
Okay.
Fifth graders from all the schools in Minidoka County, Rupert, Paul, Haber, Nasiqua, and St. Nicholas are going to be there.
Okay.
Like I said, we have got 7 stations. The kids are going to spend approximately 20 minutes per station and move on to the next station.
Okay, now, the next station. When you say station, the next area of learning, is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
Okay, what are the various stations going to show and tell them?
Number 1, flag history, and that'll be my station. I'll be talking about the history of the flag.
Yeah.
How we came to get the flag. How many iterations of the flag have we had? We've had 27 United States flags since 1777.
I understand from Wheels, he just texted me and said that Senator Kelly Anthon's on the air, George.
Yes.
And so everybody's got their headsets on, and I guess we can all hear, I think, one of the greatest senators this state's ever had, and that's Kelly Anthon. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning, Zeb. I was happy just keeping my mouth shut. These guys are doing a good job.
Well, no, I tell you what, Wheels, you're going to have to turn up Kelly a little bit with all the other mics on and everything. But, Kelly, your thoughts on this patriotic show and shine?
Well, this is the 4th time we've done this, and it's what I love about it is it's getting bigger and bigger, Zeb. And one of the things you know we've talked about on your program over the years is that we had a student, Adam Fowler, out to Oakley who noticed that some of the flag education that used to take place in the classroom wasn't taking place anymore. And what was interesting is I researched that for him. What I realized was it's already required in Idaho law that every classroom in Idaho have a flag, that they're doing the Star-Spangled Banner, they're doing the Pledge of Allegiance, they're doing flag education. So what's great about what George and Dave are doing here is they are support now for a school system to get this done. And so this is a big deal. You're talking 500 kids basically are going to be on the Rupert Square there and about, learning about things patriotic, learning how to take care of the flag and how to honor the flag, but also remembering those who have given their lives for the country. So, there can't be anything greater. And I just take my hats off to those two that are sitting there in your studio. They've done a great job. Don't let me. I hope you don't mind, Zeb. I just want to say one thing too. We have some good sponsors, and our banks, First Federal and D.L. Evans, and we've got Dixon Oil, Connection Credit Union, Brewster Cheese. We've got some really good people who are helping make this happen. So I appreciate them.
Well, I tell you what, Kelly, you have done so much on your own, working with George and other activities over in Rupert to promote patriotism. What can we do to make this bigger? How do we get it more pronounced and move up the ladder, if you will, from Rupert maybe to Boise or Lewiston and around the state, and then for that matter the Northwest? How can we make this grow?
Well, I think we're kind of taking it a step at a time. I mean, we've bitten off quite a bit this year with 500 kids. But we've already been in talks with the Kansas School District. They've been also very good to work with. George and I did a training session here a couple of years ago for all the 5th grade teachers about flag education. I think that we've got some we're lucky and we're blessed here in this area because we have good people in good school districts. But, yeah, I hope that this does grow. I think one of our other partners, the Rupert Elks, they have a real focus on flag education and also the youth, and they're going to be a partner with us on this thing. I'm hoping that as we continue to have success on these programs, that they'll catch fire in other places where other Elks clubs are, where other veterans groups are, and we're happy to help them get them going in their areas as well.
Kelly, I'm going to turn it over to George. George, do you have any comments or questions for Senator Anthon while he's on the phone with us?
What I can say, and I can say it from the Rupert Veterans Memorial, Kelly's been a blessing. He's been 110% supportive. He brought in that Laura Wilson, who's event organizer. And, I mean, we've got a tremendous staff to put this together. It's going to take all of us, and everybody has put in a lot of work. Absolutely. And I do thank you, Kelly.
Well, thank you. It's not my effort; it's a group effort, and we've got amazing community.
You certainly do, and Kelly, I always call him by his first name, and I shouldn't. I should have a lot more respect. Senator Anthon, I appreciate your calling in this morning, and for all the help that you've given this project, plus all the help you've given me in the past. Thank you so much.
Zeb, Kelly's just fine, and God bless you, and thanks for all you do. I was thinking about this morning, your voice is an important one in this community in terms of building these kinds of programs up. We need these forums to talk about them and get people excited about them, so I want to thank you.
All right, my dear friend, you take care of yourself, and we'll see you over there at the Rupert Square on the 13th. Thank you. George, your turn.
Yes, Mr. Bell, you had volunteered to be the master ceremony on our flag retirement, and we do appreciate that. Mm-hmm. It's another one of the events with David's got with flag education, and so we'll close up the day doing with the flag retirement. This is open to the public, but the public needs to give distance because this is flag education for the kids, and it's the same as if they're in class. They're welcome to stand by and observe, but give the kids room to get from station to station and not to interfere with them.
Right. Now, are the mechanics of the situation, David and George, are you going to have like little portable sound systems at each station so that the kids can hear? I mean, how is it all going to be set up?
Yes, there will be sound at the stations that need it. Flag folding, you probably won't need a sound system. I will have a sound system when I do flag history. The veterans will have sound systems there also. Where we need the sound, we will have the sound so that the kids can hear us talk and that sort of stuff.
What do you hope to accomplish by doing this kind of a program, 4th annual? I mean, what are you accomplishing?
Getting flag education, patriotism. It's grown. Minidoka County is just astronomical on the support and the patriotism out of that. So it's just, get it to expand. Hopefully that other communities will pick it up and do the same to help our kids and help our country.
You know, George, you and I have talked about this many, many times, but what you have done and what you're doing, you've really made a commitment to, with your grandson. I've got to bring him into this. You and your grandson have been instrumental in doing so much to teach the younger people the value of that red, white, and blue.
It is, and if we teach them young, the kids are I've had the pleasure of teaching young kids in school, and they're just hungry. When you get done, have a question and answer, and the questions they ask you, just blow your socks off. Just amazing on what they want to learn.
Would you gentlemen excuse me just for a moment? I've got to get a weather forecast on here quickly. And the weather brought to you by Scarrows Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome. And, of course, the number to call, 324-7657. Or you can go to their website, scarrowsmeats.com. Delicious meats for any and all occasions. Marinated pork ribs, the tri-tips, and all the different bacons, along with the different sausages and the bratwurst. I love brats. You'll love it all at Scarrows Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome. Don Scarrow and the crew serving you. Right now, here's Gina with the weather.
Going to be a nice day as we are kicking off this first week of September. Here's a look at your weather forecast. A little bit on the warm side. We are expecting mostly sunny skies for today with a high of 90. Tonight, partly cloudy with a low of 57. Tomorrow, another nice one, mostly sunny skies, high of 90. But by Wednesday evening, we are expecting a slight chance of late evening rain showers and thunderstorms, expecting a low of 57. Those could carry over for Thursday, about a 20% chance, cooling off to about 86. Chance of showers, about a 40% chance for Thursday night with a low of 58, and could carry over for Friday as well with a high of 81. That's a look at your weather forecast for Debbie Durant.
I appreciate it, Gina. Thank you very much. And brought to everyone by Scarrows Meats, 331 North Road, Jerome. I gave you the number. I'll give it to you again. Call Don and the crew at 324-7657 or go to scarrowsmeats.com. Delicious meats. As a matter of fact, that's their theme, changing the way we eat one delicious bite at a time. Scarrows Meats. George, I'm going to let you quarterback what you need to get into next. Go ahead, please.
Fourth annual Patriot Shine and Show, car show. I want to thank Dan Eppers. He's stepped in. We lost JR, and he was my car man. Anyway, Dan Eppers stepped in doing an awesome job. We've got Gunner has stood in for the bike rides, what have you. And I want to pay tribute to those two for stepping up and doing an awesome job. The car show is standing for the red, white, and blue. It's the fourth annual. We give out dice plaques to every vehicle that comes in. Some great sponsors. We got 5x8 plaques we give the sponsor pick out the car of their choice.
Let me ask you a question about that car show real quick. Is this all going to be with cars parked around the square?
Yes. Yeah, we'll also have a concession trailer there. We'll have, I think, going to have 2 of them. And there'll be food. And on the Patriot program, the Rupert Veterans is furnishing lunch for all the kids and their staff.
I see.
On that.
Okay.
But the car show, we welcome everybody to come in. There'll be bike, boats, cars, food, vendors, and entertainment. And on that will be the first annual Combat Veterans Memorial Ride. They'll be paying tribute to J.R., Vinny, Bullet, some of the combat veterans they lost, plus other veterans.
Now, this is going to be on Saturday, the
yes.
14th.
Yes.
Okay.
We postponed our Idaho Roll Call show this year, our program due to the weather, which the weather did turn out good, but prediction wasn't.
Yeah.
So we will be doing our Idaho Roll Call Memorial program there.
Now, what about the combat ride? I was going to ask you, is it going to have a starting point and an end point on the square, or where does it go?
It leaves Let's Ride at 9. The kickstand's up at 9:30. They'll be doing a ride. They're going back to Hanson. One of their members' fathers passed away, so they're going back to a funeral. Then they will come back into the Rupert Square, and they will be doing a presentation to the spouses and of the fallen combat veterans. It's a very moving program. It's it just touches a lot of people's heart,
Absolutely.
and it's a very solemn event.
Well, I'm privileged and very, very honored to be a part of it on that Friday, and our part of the program is going to start at 1 o'clock on the square.
Yeah, that will be the closing flag retirement.
And then the kids will be there.
The kids will be there, yeah. The kids are going to arrive at 9:15. They got to be on the bus by 2:15 to get their other buses to make it home.
Okay.
And so our young kids will be there from basically 9 to 2.
These are all fifth graders.
All fifth graders.
And you're expecting about, what, 500?
Well, with the staff, there's right at 400 students so far, estimate. And then we figure we're going to have about 100 staff.
What do you hope that those kids and, quite frankly, the teachers will take away from this event?
I'm hoping the teachers take away more than the kids do.
I thought so.
You know, how to put this out, getting in trouble. I don't think some of the teachers are as patriotic today as it was yesterday. I don't think there's we've got a lot of young teachers. They're good teachers, but they don't have the patriotism or the veterans close to their fathers or something like that.
You know, and David, to follow up on that, I think you'd agree that this is something those teachers that are there could use indefinitely in the classroom.
That's correct. We've got a couple of handouts that are going to be going back to class with the teachers. I brought a couple of handouts from Fort McHenry that talks about what all happened at Fort McHenry and that type of thing. And I know there's some other handouts that are going to be.
You know, David, when you mention the words Fort McHenry to a lot of the younger people today, they don't have a clue.
That's correct.
They don't have a clue.
This will spark some interest into that so that they. And the whole program, I hope, sparks interest in history and patriotism.
Do they understand the correlation between our national anthem at all and Fort McHenry and what took place and how that song came into being?
That I really couldn't answer, but part of my flag history will be talking about Fort McHenry and the Star Spangled Banner.
Absolutely. I myself, I'm going to try to get there a little earlier and take part in some of this. I just think you're doing an outstanding job, and not without all the credit you deserve. I'm sure that a lot of people are thanking you, but I want you to know how much I appreciate it. So thank you.
Thank you.
Zeb, if we may, I'd like to...
Oh, we got a quick call. George, can we take the quick call?
Yes.
Real fast, caller. You're on the air. Thank you for your call.
Tell them thank you for what they're doing.
Caller, you cut off just for a minute. Repeat that if you would, please. I'd appreciate it.
Tell them thank you for what they are doing. I really appreciate it.
Well, God bless you. And I know who this is, and I know it's heartfelt. Thank you so much. That was very nice. She said to say thank you for what you two are doing.
Yeah. Zeb, if I may kind of wrap this up a little early. Show and Shine is Saturday. Patriot program is Friday. The public is welcome. It's free to the public. We would love to have you there for Friday, but remember, it's flag education for the students, so we need to give them room so they can get all the education they get. And then the Patriotic Car Show Saturday. Come, it's free to the public, and just come and enjoy the day.
Absolutely.
Take a look at the cars.
Absolutely.
And if I may, Zeb, I'd like to take a few moments to thank you for all that you do for us. We couldn't do what we do without your help and your support.
Well,
it means to us very much, and with that, I'm going to turn this over to David.
Thanks, George. I mentioned Fort McHenry. For the past couple of years, when I've been back to Fort McHenry, I've flown flags over Fort McHenry, personally. And it's quite an honor to be able to do that. And it's quite an honor to be able to, on behalf of the veterans and myself, is to present to you, Zeb Bell.
To me?
A flag.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
That we flew over Fort McHenry this past year.
Really?
Yes.
Zeb, if you look...
I make a living talking, and I'm speechless right now. This is really nice.
Zeb, something that's kind of ironic with this, if you look at the date it was flown...
May 20th.
That's the day that we laid JR to rest.
Oh, my, that's right. I honestly don't know what to say, David, because I'm a history nut, I guess, and a history buff. And when it comes to this country and this flag and our patriotism and that Constitution that's the greatest in the world, I want you to know how much I appreciate this. I can't say thank you and let it mean everything I really means. I mean, thank you. God bless you.
You're welcome.
Oh, my goodness. It's in such a very nice display case, and it says, Certificate of Authenticity. This flag for me, Zeb Bell, has flown over Fort McHenry National Monument and Historic Shrine, Baltimore, Maryland, May 20th, 2019. That's amazing.
Zeb, I know last year I got mine. That meant a lot to me. And when I was talking to you, you just really touched home on the way when we left last year. David said, I think I'm going to get one for Zeb.
Oh, my goodness. David, that means so much to me. And it says in the small print at the bottom, and please, my bifocals aren't that strong. I'll try to read it. It says, it was the sight of this country's flag waving defiantly over Fort McHenry, which inspired Francis Scott Key to write our national anthem, the Star-Spangled Banner. Real quick, I've got to wrap up with a commercial, but David, there are those that would like to see our national anthem changed. Quickly give me your thoughts on what they're trying to do.
They don't know history, and there's no reason to change the national anthem. I know the part that they want to change. We normally don't sing that part. And to really answer their question, we don't have time for me to go into that, but there's no reason to change the national anthem.
God bless you for that. I mean, stand tough, stand firm. Don't ever weaken. Don't give an inch on that, ever. George, your thoughts?
They don't know history. If they know history, they know damn well that song, every word in that song, has got a meaning to it. Under God, indivisible.
That's right.
It's something that a lot of people laid their life down. A lot of them gave their life.
And are still doing it.
And then have these nitwits around here that has no idea what in the hell is going on.
They want to soften everything. They want to make it cuddly and kumbaya, and I will fight until I'm off the air that national anthem will never change.
They're going to keep pushing, and there's going to be a rebellion because there's still enough of us old-timers around that we've had enough.
Absolutely. I've got to give a quick word for our dear friends, and if I could, David, have you hold that so it doesn't tip over just for a second. Thank you, sir. Our major sponsor, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers, all 7 locations serving you with the best of tires. Now, is that bragging? No, it's a fact. They've got the best of tires for all the vehicles, your cars, pickups, SUVs, everything, horse trailers, boat trailers, camp trailers, everything for you. And all the different sizes. Stop in and see them today. 7 locations serving you not only with the best in tires, but also the best in brake service, front end alignment, shocks and struts and batteries. They are the best at what they do, helping you drive safely. Lane and Rupert, Dave on Blue Lakes and Twin, Mike and Buell, Mike and Jerome, the Twist family in Paul, Daniel on Poline and Twin Falls, and Trent on Overland in Burley. The best, your Magic Valley Les Schwab Tire Centers. I hate to be out of time, but I'm going to wrap it up by saying this. God bless both of you, George Mass and David Fairchild. That flag will take over one of the most honored places in my home, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. All I can say is thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Zeb.
David, thanks for being on the program with us this morning, and please come back again soon.
We'd be glad to, and thank you for all that you do for us.
God bless you. I mean that. Thank you. George, we will see you and David on the 13th.
Yep. The public, come enjoy it and have a good time.
Got to run. We're late. The way things were, the way things ought to be, and always remember these 4 words mean a lot to us. In God we trust. See you tomorrow morning at 8:06.